Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast that wouldn't die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. If you thought about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool will give up a chance for a 30% discount.
They are the game changers, leaders, celebrities, advocates, outliers, newsmakers, underdogs, survivors. What do you have in common with all of them? A lot. Find out, only on Repin, where you'll meet notable people, people you think you know. You'll find out who they really are, what they show up for, and what they represent.
A man trapped by his own body.
To Alan, to the start of his new life.
So you train monkeys exclusively for quadriplegics? How about if I were to donate a monkey?
She hasn't been exposed to anything weird in the lab.
No.
An animal trained to follow commands.
How am I supposed to take care of it, Jeff?
The idea is that it's going to take care of you.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
How do you do?
This week, we're discussing the science fiction horror. I don't know what this movie is. Monkey Shines.
Don't know what it is. It don't know.
Comedy. I mean, who knows what this thing is? I mean, it's for goddamn ridiculous. Monkey Shines, starring a quadriplegic and a rhesus monkey. And then in the background, many famous people. All the secondary characters.
It was a capuchin monkey.
Well, it might have been Capuchin. I think you're right. Now that you mention it, I don't know my monkeys as well as I should.
But you should know your Catholicism because they're named after the Capuchin monks.
No, the monks were named after the monkeys.
Hey, we're the monkeys.
People say we monkey around.
Catholic brothers.
That's true.
We're too busy singing.
I used to love the monkeys. Not the Capuchin monkeys, but just. But I mean, the rest of the cast, you've got Stanley Tucci, which we're going to talk about in probably nauseating detail. You have Janine Turner from Northern Exposure in this.
That's where I recognized her from.
She had more hair in this.
Dude, I love, but she had great eyes. She has great eyes.
She's beautiful. Beautiful woman.
Love Northern Exposure. I was going to move to Alaska.
To Sicily, Alaska, which does not exist.
Sicily, Alaska. One of the only small town where there's also not a lot of alcoholism and child molestation.
That's correct. As far as we know, that's the dark underbelly of Northern Exposure.
Small town girl.
In my mind, Northern Exposure and Twin Peaks were like the same town.
I agree.
Is that strange?
Or maybe Twin Peaks was just one city over. I mean, it's the same thing with we just need a log lady and an occasional ear found in the grass.
If you haven't seen Twin Peaks lately, it is typical David Lynch, incomprehensible nonsense. The log lady, there's a woman walking around holding a log in her arms like it's her newborn baby. Why? Who the hell knows why? There is no answer why.
It's done. It's decided. That's my Halloween costume for next year.
Please do. Well, no one's going to know. No one under the age of 50.
No one ever knows what I am, and I laugh to myself. They're like, Miss, what are you?
You're the modern day Andy Kaufman. As long as you laugh, that's all that matters. Right?
I'm going to start wrestling men instead of wrestling women.
That's exact 100%. 100%. Each week on the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genre with a comedic twist. How's it going, Log Lady? What's the latest?
Dude, I just got to make it through half a day. I have a job interview tomorrow, and I just have to make it through half the day, and then my time is mine.
Because then you're on spring break.
No mother effers.
Very good. That's some good stuff. I have 4 days next week before I get a spring break. So it's a sad situation.
What? That's so terrible.
It's terrible.
We're also having a lockdown and an evacuation drill on our minimum day, the day before we go out for spring break.
That sounds like a hoot.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. It'll be fun. Hope the kids wear sensible clothes.
Very sensible. And sensible shoes. I find that only shoes are described as being sensible. Do you notice that? I know you just said sensible clothes.
Some of the outfits running around today, because now it's like almost 80 degrees here. There's some nonsense outfits going on. I shouldn't see high school G-strings. No.
You should never see that regardless of the weather, as far as I'm concerned.
Louise.
Count me out.
Ain't nobody got no goddamn chance.
They don't. Speaking of that, give us your 30-second synopsis of Monkey Shines.
I like to... Did you ever see The Simpsons when Homer got a helper monkey? It's kind of like that.
That's what they were going for.
The helper monkey was a little bit more jealous. Basically, by the end of the Simpsons episode, the monkey was praying for death. It was completely out of shape. It would just lay on the couch next to Homer with a giant belly, drinking a beer, and just getting off the couch left him exhausted.
I don't blame him. Can't say I blame him.
So it's very similar to that. This movie doesn't make a lot of sense. Helper monkey, and they've injected boiled human brain cells into it. And as we learned in cinema, making things smarter also gives them superpowers. Although, I don't know, if I put a hard-boiled egg inside my brain, would that make me smarter too?
Unlikely.
I assume... I mean, there's some very interesting science involved in the situation.
Yes.
There is a monkey man makeout scene at one point, and it just doesn't fucking make any sense. And bad things happen to the poor monkey, who is really the only character I liked in the entire film. The end.
It's very upsetting. Very upsetting.
So what you need to know is I stopped taking notes after he came home from the hospital, because I realized it just wasn't going to matter.
Okay, he comes home from the hospital in the first 10 minutes.
Exactly. I saw which way this was going. There was going to be things that I wasn't going to forget.
Well, the thing about this movie, which we didn't even mention, is this is directed by George Romero, who we love, typically.
All right, I take it all back.
That was it.
I misread my notes.
He burned that bridge. He burned that bridge.
And I don't know what was wrong with George Romero while he was filming this. Perhaps he was going through some troubles. Perhaps he let a young child take over. The script makes no sense.
It's based on a book. It's based on a book.
And I haven't read the book. Maybe the book is better. Is the book can't decide if this is evil versus good, or whether it's a monkey that loves you, or somehow the medication with the boiled human brain that his jackass friend from many Fox TV shows in the 80s kept injecting into the monkey, getting him angrier and angrier, somehow then psychically linked them like an American Werewolf in London, where now he's channeling the wolf in his dreams, except he's channeling a monkey who's now superhuman tiny monkey. It's the size of a cat. This isn't a grade 8 that's going to eat your lips.
Not even. This is about a 4-pound critter.
It's a cat. It's a cat or perhaps a chihuahua.
I mean, it's basically a giant rat is what he's dealing with here. I mean, well, here's the other thing. So I was watching this on Tubi, the way the filmmakers intended. And every time I went back from commercial, it told me the title of this movie was Monkey Shines, an Experiment in Fear. And it
was an experiment that failed.
It was a failed experiment. That is for goddamn.
I saw that too. I was like, oh, it must be like a different one. But I was like, nope, that seems to be the only one.
That's the one. So you've never seen this before, much less ever. Have you even heard of this movie before?
I've heard the name, and I've seen the monkey picture. Like I said when we were talking, I always assumed this was a Stephen King story, so it was always on my list to see it because I assumed it was Stephen King because I remember there being a book with a monkey on it, and I assumed that was what this was.
Unrelated.
So I was like, all right, this is going to be good. And you're like, no, not Stephen King and George Romero together again. No.
It's a sad situation. I've seen this movie. I think, again, going back to the 80s, I'm almost convinced that I saw this movie like on a sleepover or whatever. Because at the time, I was like in junior high. And
88.
there's the highly erotic quadriplegic sex scene that kicks in about 3/4 of the way through the movie. I mean, it is highly erotic. I don't mean to make fun of people. Quadriplegics can get theirs as well. I mean, go do your thing, quadriplegics of the world. You know
I believe the last time we had to watch a movie with people who were paralyzed, I had to call my friend who's a nurse. I'm like, I thought if you're paralyzed from the neck down, I just assumed nothing was working.
Yeah, he does. Yes.
The answer is it depends.
There's a couple things about this. Number one, he has full range of his neck. He was moved by the end. He was moving full shoulders. It was a cinch. Yeah. Oftentimes they can't move zippity doo dah. Oftentimes it all depends on where they get crunched on the spine. So it all depends. Now they also kind of establish, since we're jumping right in on this, that his first doctor, the Tooch, Stanley the Tooch Tucci, was just a little too arrogant. So maybe he saw, because the homie was hit by, oh God, he was, okay, let's start from the beginning. The homie he's like, I don't know, an Olympian, and training for his Iron Man, does something.
He's training for Iron Man, he's working through science school as an Olympic athlete.
No, he's going to law school, but training as an Olympic athlete. Yeah. Well, because he has ankle weights, wrist weights, and then he takes a backpack and loads it with cinder blocks or something, which wouldn't be comfortable running with just these like stone blocks just cracking you in. Maybe that's the issue with the spine.
Crack. Oh, he was on crack. But it was so ridiculous. He's startled by like a cat, and then he's hit by a truck. But it's like it's a classic 80s maneuver, where it was something out of some wacky sitcom from the 80s where he's flying through the air, his backpack's flying through the air. Right. It's like, whee! Oh, you're paralyzed.
Yeah, it's not meant to be a comedic beat at that moment.
And yet that was what they chose.
Yes, there was some kind of circus music underneath. Boop, 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 boop. Right.
Bring out the monkeys.
So we see a shockingly young and svelte Stanley Tucci is his doctor, who has more hair. I wouldn't say he's got a full head of hair, but he definitely has more hair.
But he has patches. If you know what, it's really more like in like the 80s, you had those trees where it was like or not origami, or everything was bonsai. It was bonsai. So he had like 3 tufts in the front and a larger shrub in the back. Now, this is pre-waxing because he is shirtless, still jacked. But he has some good bare chest going on there.
Well, and again, if you watch this movie like I do, and you're like, I know Tucci. I've seen his work up till now. When you see him later in the movie with just a towel around his waist, you fall out of your chair. He is Jack. That's all I'm saying.
Jack.
It's crazy.
And the other thing is now he's huge. It's a huge celebrity. So in this movie, he appears to be a midget. Everyone is taller than him in this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even his girlfriend is taller than him in this movie. He is like the small little angry man.
Right.
Now you see him. I mean, except for Devil Wears Prada, where everyone is a model, but he still doesn't appear to be short.
Right.
But now it's like everybody's in a hole and he is on a pile of books. Here, you're like, he's micro. And I Googled it. They claim he's 5'8", so you know that means 5'6".
That's a Hollywood 5'8", absolutely.
He's a Hollywood 5'8".
Yes. So, I mean, the thing about it, he is such an interesting character. Because he's not like some action hero. You know what I mean? He's not jumping, sliding, doing barrel rolls on the floor, sliding over the hood of the car.
No.
He's just jacked just because he's just jacked. He didn't do this for some role.
He's just Stanley. That's why I say that. When I go to the gym, I'll be like, I am getting Tucci'd.
Absolutely.
That's going to be our new coin phrase.
Give me the full Tucci when I go to the gym.
I want the full Tucci, man.
Absolutely.
Wax everything but my chest.
Because it's like he is like ridiculously cut in life. And I don't think I've ever seen him wear a rug or anything. He's always like, I'm just going to be kind of crazy bald, no matter what the role is, no matter what we're doing. Unless the director insists, I'm going on natural, you know? And if I was Tucci, I'd be like, Devil Wears Prada, when do I take off my shirt? Right?
Dude.
When do I walk in to talk to Miranda Priestley with no shirt on, just to show up? Because otherwise, what's the point?
And Tucci is an amazing actor.
He's great.
Just not here.
Oh.
Oh, no. Don't even say that. He was in Lovely Bones. He's played lots of amazing roles.
Did he take off his shirt in Lovely Bones? He did wear a rug in Lovely Bones, by the way. But did he take off his shirt?
And it only added to the creep factor. Which is a movie that I preferred over the book because I thought the book was boring as I'm like, shut up, little dead girl. Stop talking to me.
Just seems depressing.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of Monkey Shines. So
it's the opposite of Monkey Shine, which is just boring.
It definitely gets. Look, I said this before. In my recollection, Monkey Shines was like fun. It's not good. Look, it's an experiment in fear. Bullshit. It's not scary. There's no, because it is a 4-pound little monkey thing, right?
Who's cute as a bug.
Right.
With its little monkey hands, and he's so cute. The humans are the real monsters.
Yeah, I don't give a damn how smart this monkey is. I'm not going to be afraid of the monkey. Okay? No. We talked about maybe if Monkey Shines was like, hey, instead of a capuchin monkey, we brought in a silverback gorilla, and we've given it...
I want a f***ing silverback gorilla intact, and right outside the house is a caged female. I don't know if she's in heat or something, and we're going to give him some knives and things.
Absolutely.
And you're going to stop him from going out.
Absolutely. I brought your helper silverback to fetch your books and whatever. Change the battery on your electric vehicle, whatever the case may be.
His first duty is to reach over to you and just rip your testicles off, and then he goes about it.
They don't do that, but that would be terrifying. Look,
he'll probably use his teeth. You're right.
You're right. If that's the case, I could say yes. This is terrifying. When it's a 12-ounce capuchin monkey, not afraid. I don't give a damn what the monkey does. I'm not scared. So that being said,
this is like every movie where the cat's gone crazy. fucking grab it and throw it away.
It's a
Move
cat.
it.
You might
It's
get
a fucking
scratched a little
cat. It
bit.
weighs 3
Right.
pounds.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, oh, sweet Jesus. So I remember it being more fun. Okay. Now, there's definitely I would say the third act when it's just homie on his own. Like people come in, he's like, wait, the monkey will kill you. And people just ignore him, perhaps rightfully so. And then they wind up dead. And he's just like, I guess I'm stuck here with the monkey. That seems to be freaking a long time of dealing with the monkey's throwing
I'd be like, smart monkey, you gonna change my diaper? Smart monkey, get on over here. 3-pound monkey, you gonna hoist me up? You
Absolutely. That's the question.
Monkey wife.
Well, that's when you need the silverback. That's when you pull the lever, you blow the tube, and the silverback comes out. Absolutely. Anywho, so oh God. So he was an Olympian. He's paralyzed from this accident. Tucci, and like literally 5 minutes in the movie, he's coming home in his wheelchair. Janine Turner from Northern Exposure is his girlfriend, but she's like, this is your homecoming party, whatever you want to call it. You know, hooray, you're back. She is literally in the bathroom packing up her shit during the party.
She's like, I didn't sign up for this shit. I signed up for dating the Olympic lawyer. Boom. Peace.
It was literally like the scene from An Officer and a Gentleman, where she's like, I didn't sign up to marry no Okie from Muskogee. That's basically what we're dealing with.
That is a different issue. Straight up, Officer and a Gentleman, I would have been packing my shit too. I would have been packing my shit.
She had a point of view. So Janine Turner,
I have a point of view on that situation. I would be like, bounce. Weird little man. I'm out of here.
You knew it was bad because he rolls in and he's like, oh, hey, hon, I haven't seen you at the hospital lately. So she's basically like, right, it's a bad situation. And Tooch arrives. She's getting Toochified. He pulls up in his Porsche in his fancy suit and is immediately just honing in on, here's a disgruntled girlfriend who's about to pack her bags. I'm moving in. I'm moving in quick, and I'm moving in hot.
Oh, and it was mighty quick. Coincidentally, Paralyzed Boy has a friend who's experimenting on the shoving human girl brains into monkeys by way of making like deviled eggs and injecting it into the monkey.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not a Scientologist, but I took basic science in college.
What does basic science entail, by the way?
Like I took biology, where you're fair. Like X, Y, Y, X, Y, X, that shit.
So you're an expert is what you're saying.
So for everything regarding this, I'm an expert.
Okay.
So traditionally, it's my understanding that when you're doing scientific research, it's not done like in your garage with no notes on the down low with one monkey. And somehow the university is bankrolling this shit.
It wasn't he was on campus. He was on campus and he had like a dozen monkeys. And you're right, he had a frozen brain from somewhere. They said it was
that he then put into like the steam tray, like at the cafeteria, and cooked it. It was frozen and it came out gray. It was cooked.
Oh my God.
It was like an old bit of pate.
He did not throw it in the slow cooker. What he did was he lowered it. It was like a dry ice kind of situation. Is what he flash
looked like
frozen.
It came out of an old sack from Taco Bell. Like they squeezed their product into the trays, and then like smeared it in a mortar and pestle, and then somehow it became the color of Mountain Dew, and he was injected it into the ass of a monkey.
That's correct. That's just good science. It's just good science. Exactly.
And when anyone from the university asked, he would like just not return calls because that's how you do things.
Because he's the only, and the dean of the department is Stephen Root, who's been in 10,000 things. He was in news radio.
Again, also not his finest role.
This was literally his first movie role. Because
I love Stephen Root.
He's great.
And he was also terrible in this.
But they made a point to say that he's like a noted vivisectionist, which has been illegal for 80 years in the United States.
He got the Nobel Prize for cutting shit up.
He's like Dr. Moreau at this stage of the game.
Bringing back the jackalope, except it'll be on the ass of a monkey.
They need it. Absolutely. So, oh God. So the dude is paralyzed in his chair, and he has a live-in nurse who's evidently the nurse, cleaning lady. Like, she's supposed to handle all the shit, basically.
Right.
It's like
everything. These are the people who are not really nurses. These are those poor ladies who get minimum wage, who come in, got to keep things in order, but also apparently do every freaking thing for you. He doesn't seem to understand that he is her employer.
I wrote that down.
There's probably a service that one could call.
Right. Well, the other thing is she's got like a bird that just flies wild around the apartment. And at one point she gets pissed off at him, and the bird flies into the room, lands on his head, is like biting him and clawing at him. He's like, Marianne, get your bird. Are
you talking about the great parakeet assault or the one earlier? Where he's paralyzed. So he's laying in bed and a parakeet flies on his head, which is what I assume a parakeet will do. And starts, they start digging in crevices with their beaks. So he's trying to dig into the corner of his eyes.
And he's going right for the
Marianne, take this bird. It's a fucking parakeet.
But if you're paralyzed, a budgie could kill you. If you're paralyzed, it lands right on your head and it goes right for the
budgies. Yeah, it goes right for the soft stuff.
Right for the soft
stuff.
Let
alone. Marianne, you're fired.
I would have I would have called my mom first, which Joyce Van Patten was his mom. I would have called her first and said, by the way, fire this woman and get me at least a registered nurse. Somebody, don't go down to behind the Costco and say, hey, hop in the back of the truck. I got a job for you. Find somebody who is qualified for this position. No? Not so much. No.
Oh my God. By the time the monkey arrives and mom shows up, the other lady is not even doing anything. She's sitting there reading magazines, talking about how everyone's an asshole.
Yes.
Bitching. To no one in particular.
She is laying on the couch, reading World Weekly News or some shit, while the house is in goddamn shambles. At one point, the kindly monkey trainer shows up and says, hey, are you the nurse? Her response is, God has given me this burden. How about this? You're fired. How do you like that burden? Absolutely.
That was never an option. She has to die or something has to die.
Yes.
We haven't even talked about how he got the monkey.
No,
so there's Jackass Joe is experimenting with his monkeys and decided what's the best thing because it doesn't seem to be getting any smarter no matter how many times he injects it. Quite frankly, the finest acting is from the monkey. The monkey screams, is very upset, and you give him a treat, and then he kind of chills out a little bit. The finest acting is from the monkey. So he decides to track down the monkey trainer who only trains monkeys except when she's having sex. Once she has a boyfriend, the monkeys are just locked in a garden, and we never find out what happens to them again.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes with the monkey trainer, it knows everything, it speaks English. There were a couple times that fucking monkey was talking. And he brings it over to his paralyzed friend. Because what could go wrong with my flawed experiment?
Well, he on one level, he is a good friend. On one, because he's the only one. Now, granted, he shows up 12 hours late for the welcome home party, but he's the only friend who's not like, I'm so put off by the fact that you're paralyzed. I'm still rolling over, grabbing free beers out of the fridge, and we're chilling. Right?
No, he's good friends because now he can say, you're less than me now.
So
It makes
you
them feel
add this
good.
kind of subtext. I didn't detect that at all. How dare you?
Absolutely. It's like, okay, you were an Olympic athlete, you're going to be an attorney. I go around and I chain smoke and like inject monkeys until they want to stab me.
This is such bullshit. None of this is in the.
This is subtext.
This is deep
No, he's
subtext.
Lord. He couldn't be bothered to fucking come to the party. That's what
He's
it
an
did for him.
absent-minded professor. Is the issue? He
Well, then
forgot
he needs to
'cause
stop
doing-
injecting his Mountain Dew.
So he's killing
Perhaps.
two birds with one stone, is what we're saying. He goes to the monkey trainer, and she's like, you know what? We've got a waiting list as long as my arm. People are dying to get these crazy little monkeys.
My crazy monkey.
These crazy
Tammy's
ass
monkey farm.
They want the damn monkeys. And frankly, I don't know if I could spare it. It's like, well, what? I happen to have a monkey. I could throw you the monkey that I got, give it a little training. It's already had some training. Okay, cool. Now, you haven't experimented on this monkey or anything, have you?
Oh, no.
No. Now that you mentioned, no, I have no experimentation here. Interesting.
Shouldn't he have been with them the whole time taking notes on the fucking monkey as one does when one is conducting experiments?
Right.
Not just deuce for a month.
Right. So there's definitely a smash cut. He delivers the monkey on Monday. On Tuesday, GD Thing is fully trained and is now ready to live with your paralyzed friend and take care of his ass. Right?
Right.
So, but you're right. If this is an experiment, you think he'd be showing up every day, taking notes on behavior
Exactly.
changes, anything.
And what did
No.
Ella do today? Oh, that's interesting. Notes.
Interesting.
Notes.
Do you mind if I
No.
set up cameras all around your house just to see her behavior and shit? No, none of that. So
He's the worst scientist that God ever made. This
is
the
not
only
the
job he'll
scientific
have.
method.
It was this or Skid Row. This is
Pretty
not the
much.
scientific method.
Not the scientific method. I think we can all agree. And at that point, the moment the monkey arrives, then the shit goes down with the housekeeper. I call her the house because they call her the nurse, but clearly she ain't doing much of anything. Let's be honest. I guess she bathes him every now and again. The monkey feeds him now, right? The monkey,
That was
takes
quite
care of
hysterical. You can see him trying to hold it together while this monkey is putting his whole hand in his mouth, shoving a cookie in.
filthy feces throwing hand right into his
He
mouth.
just masturbated, as monkeys do, and now
Absolutely.
he's putting Chips Ahoy in your mouth.
Absolutely. I'd be like, monkey-sized gloves on this motherfucker. Please. If I get cholera or something, I mean, who's going to call? Anyway, this is disgusting. So he's got I mean, literally, she says, like, the evil housekeeper's like, I suppose I got to clean up shit all day.
I suppose so. It ain't going to be me. I'm a quadriplegic.
Well, she says, well, he is housebroken. But let's be honest, you are probably going to step in some shit every now and again. Just
Yes, she
prepare
did.
yourself. She did, absolutely did. And frankly, he may fling it at you from time to time. So prepare yourself for that psychologically.
Oh my God.
No,
So,
it's
again, I don't understand how you make something smarter then makes them supernatural.
okay. They definitely yada yada this part because you're right. So he's getting the monkey's getting injected with the brain fluid, whatever the hell that shit is, and halfway through the movie, suddenly they have like a psychic link, the paralyzed guy and the monkey for no reason. It wasn't like they took shavings from the paralyzed dude's brain and sprinkled it into the.
How are they linked? And why does it make the paralyzed dude angry? Because the monkey, quite frankly, never seems angry. He always she seems happy as a Clambo.
Right.
She's giving him little snuggle hugs. He's the
Yes.
angry one, which would make sense. I'm paralyzed. I'm going to be angry about that.
He's kind of angry and bitter until the monkey arrives. Then it's like, oh, I've got a new lease on life. Doesn't last long because for the link, basically, the monkey the monkey brain basically kind of makes him kind of angry all the time. So, and occasionally he has like fangs. Do you notice that? He's like, now I've got fangs because I'm angry.
Poor dental care.
It could have been poor. Maybe I'm seeing things. They call him Yuck Mouth.
Yuck Mouth, dude.
So it's also now like when I get mad, now the monkey does the shit that I want him. I don't even have to tell him. He's going to go do some. When your bird tried to poke out my eyes, now the monkey's going to kill your bird. And
it's the dude. It's not the monkey. This is my take. He's the angry one. It's his angry thoughts that are getting taken care of. The monkey just wants to make out with you and eat sweet treats.
The monkey did kind of slip in the tongue a little bit.
They were into it. And also not explained. It would make sense if they were bonded and if it was a story about jealousy. We've seen that in other kind of primate things.
Absolutely.
But that's not the case. That's not the direction they went.
No,
they decided this was a sin and evil, like a sin movie.
That was so ridiculous.
What sin did the monkey commit?
He's a monkey. He's doing monkey shit. Come on.
She is doing monkey shit.
Oh, pardon me. You're right. I don't mean to misgender the monkey. But I want to go back to something you said earlier, that the finest acting in this movie is arguably from the monkey.
100%.
Right? Wouldn't you agree?
I wanted a fucking monkey by the end of this. Monkey, call so-and-so. They had like some ancient punch cards that they were shoving to the phone.
Correct.
And the monkey knew everything. The monkey had taken, like you said, taken over the role. He could change the batteries in his wheelchair, refill his own snacks, let himself out of the cage, and come right back whenever you needed him. There was, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing wrong with the monkey.
The monkey could frickin' cut the power to the house. He took a correspondence course in electrical engineering, or I don't know what.
That's when we started making some left turns there.
There was some shit going down. So the scientist friend, is at the hospital visiting the paralyzed dude because he tried to commit suicide at one point. And while he's there, he's talking to Tucci like, "Oh, you know what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, it's cool. Don't worry about this. Shit happens
all the time with these guys.
In fact, Mom, you should go back to Illinois. He just tried to commit suicide. That's okay.
He was trying to commit suicide because he was living with this crazy Van Patten mom. Were all the other Van Pattens showing up too?
Could be Tim and Vince and Dick. The whole gang is showing up.
If only it was Dick, that'd be okay.
Dick Van Patten. Yeah. I've had to Google again. No one under the age of 50 knows who the hell the Van Pattens
The Van Patten family was very big in the 80s
in the 70s. In the 70s.
In the 70s on television. They're not the Skarsgårds.
No, they're not. They're not. But anyway, so while he's at the hospital visiting his suicidal friend, Janine Turner from Northern Exposure, that's how I'm going to refer to her, shows up. He's like, "Oh, you heard about the suicide attempt?" And she's like, and Tucci immediately goes over, puts his arm around her. It was like, bro, you can't move in on your paralyzed patient on his girlfriend, while he's in here committing suicide. That's my feeling anyway. No?
I agree. I think, like I said, Tucci bad, monkey not bad.
Tucci not bad. Well, and Janine Turner from Northern Exposure is not like, oh, the dude I was living with, it just attempted suicide? Maybe I should be concerned. No, not concerned. I have zero feelings now that you're in a wheelchair. I am out. Deuces. It was a sad situation.
She was a professional. She was working on her MRS, and it wasn't going to be this.
I guess not.
I wasn't going to spend my beauty years changing somebody's diaper.
Well, what's interesting?
Deuces.
She was deuces. And the friend does not tell wheelchair dude about seeing his girlfriend with the tooch. He has to discover it on his own later.
Yeah.
Right? What was it?
Would you tell? No, I know you just tried to kill yourself, but let me tell you something else. You wish you'd never come back. I'm gonna step out. You're gonna do it again. So here's a shoelace. Let's go.
You shake him out of his coma and say, "Hey, bro,
you think life was shit? Just you wait.
You thought it was bad before." Yeah, I guess that makes sense because he calls the Tooch's office and says, "Bro, I'm I don't know, I need help."
Part where they go for a second opinion, and the doctor says, "Well, there's all this trauma. I think your doctor missed that you had this congenital thing," which doesn't make sense to me because if your spine was severed, does it matter if two things were happening at the same time?
Yes.
No, you have a congenital defect that anything could have happened.
Yes, but you were also hit by.
But you're also hit by a fucking truck. So the doctor was doing with the guts and the gore, maybe missed that, but your spine was still severed.
Right. So
now he's in the rain. So he's calling the doctor. He's going to curse him out for not noticing something.
Right. So it was like there was one injury here from what we think was from the truck accident, being run over. But there was already a congenital issue that could have affected him at any time. So what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Either way, you would have been So because his spine was, I don't know, here's the science-y part that confuses me. So this doctor, because he had a congenital thing that was going to break his back anyway.
Yes.
Somehow now the doctor, because he had this, was going to be able to patch both broken areas?
Correct. So it's good news that you also had a congenital.
Too bad Christopher Reeve didn't know about this doctor, because he's by God, where's his Nobel Prize?
Well, obviously Christopher Reeve went to Stanley Tucci. And that's
he went to the Tooch.
He went to the Tooch. And
that's what you got.
Tooch walked in there in his lab coat and shirtless and just said, "Hey, this is what I do." And so paralyzed guy whose name I could look up, but I'm not doing it. Now he's just paralyzed, dude. He is angry because he discovers that because when he calls the office, they're like, "Oh, he's out for the weekend." It's like, "Oh, damn." But I'll give you the number where he can be reached, stranger. In case you're a potential serial killer.
Here's his girlfriend's phone number.
Right.
They'll be happy to talk to you.
That was the reveal, that it was like his girlfriend's number, who evidently lives in a cabin in the woods. So that's good. Wasn't like he said, he didn't say pick vacation home or something, right? It was like, this is where she lives, this is how she do. And the monkey goes there, hundreds of miles away. How the hell did he get there? No one knows. No explanation.
Because it's supernatural smart monkey.
It's super monkey. Once he gets there, we're supposed to assume that Tucci and Janine Turner from Northern Exposure are getting down. But all you see from the monkey's point of view are these legs just entwined, kind of flopping over the side of the... I don't know what... were they playing Twister? I don't know what they were doing exactly.
They were going full Tooch.
It was full Tooch. I think that's all we could say. The Tooch is loose. No question. Right. Absolutely. What else you got? Anything else from this movie?
I just have all this stuff. They're like, they're alluding that anything with an animal instinct is the work of the devil.
Correct.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
A lot of times I'm like, how is the monkey bad when it was the guys who did all this? But it's the monkey's bad. The worst scene is he's getting rid of his monkey who he was just making out with and hugging. The monkey would put like 1940s big band music and they'd like make out and hang out.
They're very popular in the 80s.
And they're dragging this fucking monkey out and it's crying as they're I was like, what the f***? This is some real shit.
Yes.
The monkeys aren't acting.
Yeah, that's true.
You can teach Lassie to bring you the ball, but clearly this little monkey was very unhappy. They dragged him out like a leash. It's like trying to walk a cat where it just goes limp and you're pulling it but with a leash. I was like, that's very upsetting.
Well, I always wondered, like, obviously, monkeys are not acting. I always wonder about movies where there's like a crying baby. Do they just have a room of babies, and if one of them, they go, we need a crying baby, grab one of those
You get it
babies.
right under the arm where you can't hide the bruises.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Do they make the baby cry?
I didn't look at the end. Did they get the ASPCA approval seal? Methinks not.
At the right at the very
Ask Tom
beginning.
Salvini. He was in charge of pinching the babies and the monkeys.
Absolutely. Well, at the beginning of the movie, they said, I know there are some traumatic scenes in this movie, but no monkeys were harmed. So there you go.
Do we know
feel
that?
better?
At one time, the paralyzed dude starts shouting, "God damn you!" And I was like, all I kept thinking was, "You damn dirty ape!"
You damn dirty ape! Absolutely.
I mean, it just didn't make any. This movie doesn't make any sense. The monkey is fine. I mean, at the end, it did have a straight edge razor, which made me laugh. That cracked me up. I'm like, okay, but it's still a 3-pound monkey.
It's a 3-pound, and the dude grabs the straight razor blade by the blade. That's not the monkey's fault, bro.
And a 2-year-old walks up with a fork. And you grab it like this, or you just take the thing away?
Yes. It's a 4-pound monkey. For God's, yes.
And by the end, the monkey understood perfect English. They were just having conversation.
They were just having. There was no more code words. It wasn't fetch. It was now like a running monologue. Hurry! Turn on the power. Yeah. There's. Oh God.
At one point, the monkey takes the batteries out of the wheelchair, and yet 5 minutes later, he's rolling down the hall again. What?
He took the I can't believe I'm defending this movie. He takes the battery out of the little flashlight.
No.
Yes.
It wasn't the flashlight. It was the side of the wheelchair because they showed that he can replace the batteries in the wheelchair. And at the end, he pulls that out. And the next thing you know, as he's trying to run over the leg of his friend.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Who's injecting him. Now he's so stupid. He's injected himself with the brain of a child.
That's not... No, the friend brings 2 syringes full of frickin' monkey poison. And
monkey poison.
It's a special blend. I don't know. I'm not.
But earlier, the jackass is injecting himself with the same stuff.
Yes,
from
that is true.
They're giving the monkey, which is pureed 6-year-old brain. So I think he's getting stupider as the movie progresses.
He might be. Well, they already established that he's kind of like a intravenous drug user. Like he's pumping himself up with this stuff. So he's like, because he says something like, if I stay up once every 3 nights, it's like an extra 15 years.
If I stay up for 3 nights once every week or something.
Some kind of ridiculous. He needed some kind of an intervention or something in that stage.
He was like, I'm taking the 7% solution or something. He thinks he's Sherlock Holmes.
Which was morphine, if I believe correctly.
I think he was on cocaine.
It was a 7% cocaine solution. Absolutely. Yeah. Later in the movie, his kind of earthy new girlfriend, the monkey trainer, she brings him over because he's like, I'll stay with you for the weekend. She's like, well, I don't have the equipment to take care of you except in the barn with a stank ass barn full of
monkey feces that she hasn't been tending since she met this dude.
It's a factory farm of just monkeys. It's basically what we're talking about. Hope that's cool. You can sleep in the barn. And of course, the monkey feces, the odor is like an aphrodisiac. So they're immedly like, let's do this.
Well, and it's nice that she has ramps everywhere because he's in one of those like 90 pound, 150 pound wheelchairs because he's quadriplegic.
Well, I hope she's really strong because she moves him from his chair and is now like in the bed or on the couch, wherever their love cocoon, if you will. And he can't move.
She likes to have the monkeys as an audience.
Right. He can't move. And she gets up and literally, now off camera, because it's a family show, evidently she straddles
It's a
him.
family show, yeah.
She straddles him.
She's clearly straddling him. She's sticking her boobs in his mouth. It's
Yes.
monkey porn. And she's screaming like she don't know what's going on. Like he is half an alien.
Well, here's the
But he's
thing about
paralyzed, so he's just sitting there. So whatever's happening, she's just doing herself.
it's very presumptuous. Okay? The fact that he's paralyzed. So you have to climb on his face. Essentially, right? I don't remember him saying mount up, honey. He doesn't say anything.
No.
Right? He's
She's
paralyzed.
like, shut up. You can breathe when you're done.
You can breathe when you're done. And as creepy Willem Dafoe said in Born on the 4th of July, if you don't have it in the hips, you better have it in the lips. Oh, God.
We could just have a whole list of creepy things that William Dafoe said.
Absolutely. It's evident, and I guess that this is behind the scenes, but I guess the scene was much more erotic, and they trimmed it down, perhaps rightfully so, because she's holding on to whatever, like a trapeze.
So she would hang the meat when she was not part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No question, 100%. Oh, sweet Jesus!
Because
Anything
that's
else?
in there because she was training the monkeys how to lift a human. The 3-pound monkey are lifting them in and out of bed.
Yes.
Lifting them into their wheelchair.
This
is why the apes rose up. Let me just tell you.
No, it's a freak show. I mean, and the like you said, the acting is goddamn ridiculous. I think, as we've said multiple times, he is the finest actor, the finest primate actor since Cornelius, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, it makes you want to have a monkey because the monkey's the only thing you give a shit about. Right. Everybody else is like a weirdo or an asshole. Actually, everybody's kind of an asshole. Except for the monkey, who's the only innocent person in this whole situation.
He's a monkey.
He's a fucking monkey. He's a sweet little monkey, and you guys fucked him up.
Yep. He's an outbreak monkey, is I believe the
Dude. That's stage 2 when he fakes his death and goes back and lets the other monkeys out.
Oh, it's true, and they rise up. This is like the beginning of Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
There it is.
Planet of the Monkeys, I guess in this case.
Except when Tucci shows up for that, he is the tallest man because all the monkeys will be 2 feet tall.
Oh, 100%.
So he'd be like the giant marching through Monkey Town.
Monkey Town, like he's Godzilla. It's King Kong in reverse.
You damn dirty apes.
100%. Shall we go behind the scenes, for God's sakes?
You forgot the fucking end, Kevin. I was leaving that for you.
Oh, God. So you're right. He again, no help is coming at this stage of the game. No help. He's on his own. He entices the monkey onto his lap, and he promptly takes a whiz right on him to show his...
and laughs.
Laughs. And he goes...
And I thought that was a thing because you couldn't have a male monkey because they would piss everywhere. So I was like, is this the reveal? It's really a male monkey? And he's like, F you? No.
That's 100% what I want. No, not so much.
No.
But because he's got to take care of it himself. And he goes in there and bites the monkey and whips it around where it's like literally one of those, like a sock monkey that he's whipping back and forth.
It was a Beanie Baby. It was one of the Beanie Baby monkeys. And he bites its neck.
Bites it, crunch.
That little monkey's going to be sinking its little fangs into the side of your face while
and scratching your face. I mean,
of course.
Yeah, it would be a
You're paralyzed, dude. How much action you got going on here with this?
Well, no question. After he kills the monkey, there is now no one to take care of him. So in the reality, he's now sitting in that chair until he slowly expires, and that's how the movie should have ended.
I like the monkey with the needle poking his girlfriend and looking up at him.
Well, first you light matches, like a match, and I'm going to poke your denim jacket with it so it's going out. Now I'm trying to poke your hair with
Award
it.
to Ella the monkey. I mean,
Ella,
really,
the
monkey,
goddamn, absolutely.
the monkey did the best thing.
No question.
And then the double ending, he has surgery, is cured, hasn't walked in years, he hasn't had any physical rehabilitation, and like skips home. The end. What the
He gets out of the wheelchair. They toss him one crutch.
Yeah.
One.
Like Mr. Peanut. He's like Mr. Peanut.
He jumps up, dances a jig. Da-da-da-da-da. It was you. Look, even if you repaired your spine, your muscles have atrophied in the months that this movie takes place.
Your legs
right?
are chicken wings at this point.
No question.
Yeah.
No question. Oh, speaking of chicken wings, they talked about how throughout this movie, his mom is like bathing his naked body, and that dude is still totally buff, which is impossible if you are a quadriplegic.
Exactly. He and the Tooch would work out with Ella the monkey in between takes.
Now, here's another thing. At the beginning of the movie, as he's getting ready to go on his jog, he does a good 5 minutes of naked stretching before the movie begins. Where I'm like, what is...
Oh, and you got to see Northern Exposure's ass.
It was
She has
more like
three
a hip.
lines, and her, it was like a hip and an ass, because he actually pulls it back so you can see it, and then covers her back up.
He's like, let me move this back just for the camera benefit. No, she's a fox. She's a stone cold fox. But she's in this movie for 3 minutes.
Yeah,
basically.
She has zero lines.
She's there to basically be dump him in his time of need, which would be bad enough. But immediately jump in the back of the Tooch's Porsche. You can't do that. That's signing your death warrant.
Sending a monkey over to your house.
Absolutely.
Oh, we did.
Send all the monkeys over. Shall we go behind the scenes?
Let's go, brother.
Okay. We talked about this. This was the first film role for Stephen Root, then a stage actor. According to Root, he had been instructed by his agent not to let casting directors know that he was inexperienced with film as an actor.
Okay.
So, keep it on the DL. And Root's official debut was in Crocodile Dundee 2, which was released in theaters a month before this film, despite being shot a month after it. So there you go.
Interesting.
He came
I didn't know
out.
there was a Crocodile Dundee 2. I did see Crocodile Dundee 1 and enjoyed it.
Okay, Crocodile Dundee.
And use the phrase, are you going to put some shrimps on the Barbie?
Absolutely.
That one long week when Australia was like the shit. That one summer. Everybody wanted to go to Australia.
Absolutely. Let's see. This was George A. Romero's first studio film. However, the
rest theater? What does that mean?
No, the rest were independent.
Broadway?
Everything, yes, it was 100%. However, the studio he was working with, Orion Pictures, had recut the film against Romero's wishes, which contributed to the box office failure of the film, according to him.
That's a lie.
I don't think that's true.
They may have recut it, but I don't think it had anything to do with this nonsense.
One of the very few films depicting a quadriplegic having sex. I think that's absolutely true.
That and Born on the 4th of July, which is your perfect double feature.
It's hours of fun.
He was not a quadriplegic, so what's the other one?
This is the one, frankly. Producer Charles Evans said the oral sex scene between Kate McNeil and Jason Begay was much more explicit as originally shot. We had a pretty raw scene of explicit sex, and George kept toning it down and toning it down. I wanted
just labia and tongue, and just with the macro lens.
It was absolutely Larry Flint City. I wanted it to be a little grittier, but George didn't see it that way. As I look back now and see the result, I think he was right.
Oh, really? Because it had nothing to do with any. And you're like, what? Where's this coming from? Oh, I forgot it was the 80s. We hadn't inserted any boobuses yet. So let's throw that in.
Absolutely. And I guess there was a different ending to this movie that George Romero shot.
Where he doesn't bite the monkey in the neck?
No, I think all that occurs, but the reveal is that evil Stephen Root has, continued to inject the other monkeys and has injected himself. So now he's part He's part monkey, and the monkeys have the brain of Stephen Root, and who the hell?
They go back, and Stephen Root is just like a capuchin monkey, and they're all sitting around grooming each other.
100%. 100%. And it was meant to be like, you think it's over, but it's not over. There's more monkeys on the
perfect ending would be our quadriplegic. You're like 6 months later, and they're just an old raisin, desiccated dead man sitting.
An old mummified corpse. 100%.
100% with flies. Lots
of flies
flies
buzzing around. Well, because the mom is upstairs in the bathroom, she was electrocuted. Then you got his buddy's corpse there, and then it would just be
not a house of 1,000 corpses, but a house of 3.
I mean, far too many, in my opinion. Let's talk about the cast and crew, shall we?
Do it.
Director was George A. Romero, as we've said many times. You know him from...
Lord, George, your first attempt, and this is what you bring us? Good.
It's a sad situation. Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and Monkey Shines, an experiment in fear.
A failed experiment.
Failed experiment.
No, a successful experiment in boredom. A failed experiment in fear.
That is sad but true. Jason Begay, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name, played Alan. You know him from The Next 3 Days in 2010. He played a state trooper in Thelma and Louise 3 years later. Mm-hmm. He was in Monkey Shines, and he was Royce in G.I. Jane. He's actually still acting today.
Okay. He did look vaguely familiar, but not from any of the shit you said.
John Pankow played his buddy Jeffrey, the mad scientist. You know him from To Live and Die in L.A.
You know, I never saw that.
He was...
I like the song. To live and die in L.A. I wonder why in L.A.
You know it, don't you? He played Ira Buckman in 154 episodes of Mad About You.
Mad About You. That was it.
Boom. Yep. He was in 2010's Morning Glory and 1987's The Secret of My Success, the Michael J. Fox vehicle.
No, I didn't see that because I hate Michael J. Fox. So.
Oh, no, you can't hate Michael J. How dare you?
I can't.
Oh, I guess this is a free country. Kate McNeil played Melanie, the monkey trainer. You know her from such things as Monkey Shines. She was in The House on Sorority Row in 1982.
Did we see that?
No, but we got to add to the list now.
All
right. She played female astronaut number 1 in Space Cowboys in 2000.
I love it. It's just not a character's name, but a vague description.
Pretty much. And in 1995, Jean-Claude Van Damme vehicle Sudden Death, playing Kathy, who I do not remember. So, good times.
She was also known as Lady on the Bus.
Lady on the Bus? Joyce Van Patten played Dorothy Mann, the mom. You know her from such things as Grown Ups in 2010.
No.
Monkey Shines in 1988. Marley and Me in 2008.
I'm sure you saw that. You like those stupid dog movies.
And Bone in 1972. Does that ring any bells?
No.
Now, she's Dick Van Patten's sister. Is that correct?
All right. She seemed a little old for his wife. I don't know.
It's hopeless. Christine Forrest played Marianne Hodges, the evil housekeeper. You know her from such things as Monkey Shines, Dawn of the Dead in 1978, Creep Show, playing Tabitha in 1982. Oh, I remember Tabitha. She was, remember, it's the dinner party?
Yeah.
The dinner party where it's like the young faculty
Is
or
she...
like... She's like the wife of the youth.
Oh, in the crate one. The crate one.
In the crate.
Okay.
Exactly. And she was in Martin in 1977. So
dude, I saw Martin. I've seen Martin many times. Have you ever seen Martin?
No, where it's a guy who thinks he's a vampire, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the few I haven't seen of George's.
If I recall, it was really good.
Stephen Root played Dean Burbage. You know him from such things as Office Space.
Yep.
He was in Dodgeball, a true underdog story. I was going to say Dodgeball, an experiment in fear, but that would be a different movie.
Pre-COVID, I had a personal trainer, and on Saturday or Sunday mornings, all the people with personal trainers got this like bonus like workout thing, and at the end we'd all play dodgeball.
Oh, very cool.
It was fun. I was lousy. I got nailed in the head, and then I just lay down until it was over again.
He was in 258 episodes of King of the Hill, playing Topsy Toppington. Did you ever watch King of the Hill?
We would make up.
And 32 episodes of Barry on HBO.
So I never saw Barry.
It's very popular. And we got the Tooch. Stanley Tucci played Dr. John, sometimes Dr. John Weissman, and sometimes Dr. John Wiseman. So who's to say? I don't know what the story is.
Apparently
you know
nobody
him.
knew.
You know him.
Was he a monkologist too? Is that what people who study the monkey and the spine?
Absolutely. You know him from Big Night in 1996. He was in Spotlight in 2015. Mm-hmm. He was in The Lovely Bones in 2009.
Yeah, he was super creepy.
And he played Paul Child in Julie and Julia in 2009.
And you know what? That's when I really fell in love with him. He was great in that. He was great in Prada, and he was really good in the Julia Child one. In fact, Julia and Julia, I only liked the Julia Child part. The other half of the show, I was like, shut the f*** up. I don't give a shit about you. Let's go back to f***ing Julia Child and Stanley Tucci, because they were great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're always great. Janine Turner played Linda. I think I saw it briefly. I saw it once.
Briefly.
And I barely remember it. I definitely watched the whole thing, but I don't remember much about it, honestly.
All right.
It's a sad situation. Janine Turner from Northern Exposure played, I don't know, some character.
I don't know her. She never really did anything. She was great.
She was in Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone in 1993.
Yeah.
She was in Steel Magnolias in 1989.
Who the hell was she in Steel Magnolia?
She was Nancy Beth Marmillion.
She was some rando at a party, basically.
Could be.
Next.
She was in 110 episodes of Northern Exposure playing Maggie O'Connell.
Pure genius.
And 12 episodes of Friday Night Lights. There you go. And I think I've done the entire cast by now. I think we're good.
And Ella the Monkey?
And the Monkeys. There was a bit of a scandal because the first poster for this movie had the monkey sitting in a wheelchair, and I guess it offended quadriplegics everywhere. So
but the rest of this doesn't offend them.
It should. No, the actual movie should have been the most offensive thing. Let's look at the rating, shall we?
Let's do it.
Monkey Shines currently sits at 53% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you know what the audiences gave it?
43.
Ooh, 41.
Ooh.
Not bad at all. Let's look at the top critics, shall we? Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. I swear to God.
Roger watched everything.
He watched every GD movie in the world. Somewhere within this movie's 2 hours or so is his hidden and absolutely spellbinding 90-minute thriller. 2.5 out of 4. Yeah.
God, I thought it was slow. I mean, what kind of balls do you have to make this? Who deemed this worthy of an extra 30 minutes? Not I, said the fly.
It's a long slog by the end. Variety staff says a befuddled story about a man constrained from the neck down, told by a director confused from the neck up.
Yep.
Boom.
Boom. Confused by a director, confused by a screenwriter. Because I feel like these people in this were actors, just none of them were doing a very good job of it. Like I felt like if there was a good script, and a good. I mean, there is a good director, but not on this. He obviously had his mind on other things. Something good could have come of this.
That's true. So, what is your rating, Aaron, for Monkey Shines?
I have one more thought.
Please.
Really, this should be on. We should have a compilation tape of the best scenes of the worst movie. Like for sure, we would get snippets of the parakeet assault on the paralyzed man.
Marianne!
Why isn't that in an Argento movie? That would, except in the Argento movie, that little budgie would be feasted on the sweet, sweet eyes.
Well, that's the horror movie.
The monkey with the switchblade.
That'll
Keep those two pieces. Everything else gets a banal and boring. Too many sausages ruins a pot. That's all I can tell you.
You know that old saying, too many sausages ruins the pot? You know it, don't you?
Oh my God.
Good Lord. I think I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 cinder blocks in your backpack banging on your spine, which could have caused the paralysis in and of itself. Frankly.
There's like 2 or 3 little funny parts. Never wasn't scary. Mostly it's boring.
Right. It definitely kind of bogs down at the end. That's the biggest issue. Towards the end, it is so... When he's, again, the final night, I swear to God, takes 45 minutes. I mean, this movie, it seems like this was like Killers of the Flower Moon or something. At some point, I'm like, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're making ostensibly a monster movie, right, then the monster needs to be scary. It can't be a 4-pound capuchin monkey. Marcel from Friends is what we're talking about. If
this
Marcel from Friends...
Marcel from Friends was too big. It was creepy.
Oh, God.
And why Jesus. Friends would bring on a f***ing monkey? That's how you know your ratings are going down.
It's like Cousin Oliver.
Children, monkeys, and mysterious new cast members. You know you're on the shits.
I have to be honest, I don't think it happened in too many other sitcoms where they introduced a monkey into the cast, but who's to say? I'm not a historian.
It's the Cousin Oliver of the situation.
That is true.
Honestly, I think the best thing someone could do is remove the entire dialogue track and just dub in like a real story. You can even make it a comedy. I think this is right for a mystery science theater 10,000. Where instead of it just being a sassafras during their shitty lines, strip out the entire dialogue, and even if you don't even want it to match the words. No. Come up with a different story that matches the visuals, and you could do it. Get rid of all this nonsense.
Absolutely. But like an Argento, Fulci kind of thing where it's like, obviously it doesn't match. Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean?
Is it going to make it worse if it has a clear dialogue and a story that makes sense? I don't think it makes it worse.
I don't think it couldn't possibly. So thank you very much. We are on Facebook, we're on X, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, Instagram. The list goes on and on. You could be watching us on YouTube as well.
You could
be. You could also email us at the podcast that wouldn't die at Gmail. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you?
Won't you please? Or we'll send us a monkey to your house. Did I tell you the story that the San Diego Zoo used to have this aviary with monkeys? And one time I was in there in high school and a fucking spider monkey, I felt something on my shoulder. I look over, there's the little spider monkey sitting on my shoulder. You know, the little kind of yellow with the white face. I was like, oh, he's going to sink his little shitty teeth right into my face.
It was Monkey Shines.
It was Monkey Shines all over again, and then it bounced away. And I have a friend who works at the zoo. She's like, "Oh no, we took those monkeys out." Like,
what? And did what with them? Release them?
You feed them to the other creatures.
To the other creatures.
I was like the parrots of Southern California. There's also spider monkeys dancing around in your neighborhood.
Donate them to the quadriplegics at that stage of the game. No, I was at the San Diego Zoo, and there was an orangutan. Which orangutans are bigger than you think they are, frankly.
They're big boys. They're the old man of the forest.
there was a dude standing next to the cage, and the orangutan just casually just dropped its shit right on him. Just kind of underhand drop, boom. It's just like, what? What's you gonna do about it? How do you like them
When he
apples?
says deuces, he means deuces.
Those are the real deuces. No question. Sweet Jesus. Did you tell us what your social media is, Aaron? I don't
No,
even
I have
remember
not.
at this stage.
I have not told you my social media yet. I have media. Basically, I'm on Instagram. I'm the Cult of Aaron. I'm on Artsy and First Dibs, Aaron Doherty. But basically, if you want to see current shit, I'm on Instagram. How about that?
That sounds good to me. Next week, we're going to be discussing the Australian found footage classic.
We are?
We don't know.
What the is this?
We're seeing Lake Mungo.
Oh God!
Lake Mungo.
Jerry and Rumple Teaser. Is it about cats?
No, it's about that band. What was that? Was there a band from the 70s called Mungo Jerry?
Jerry. When the summertime, when the weather is hard, you can.
That's what we're watching. You can watch
when their
Lake.
plane went down in the Andes. Is that it? They met a soccer team.
Could be. It could be anything. There could be monkeys in this. I can't comment.
We can only pray.
We can only hope.
But we want primates.
If you want to watch Lake Mungo, you can watch it on Roku, Vudu, Tubi, Plex, Freevee, all for free or with ads and with ads. So there you go. If you want to watch it without ads, you're going to have to spend $3.99 on Apple TV, Vudu, or $4.29 on Amazon Prime. So
I think it only costs $4.29 to make it. Are you sure? That seems a lot.
Could be. So send in your favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may talk about it on the show. What we also like to do is share our thoughts and feelings, our friends' thoughts and feelings from the interwebs based upon, things that we're posting, for goodness sake. So, talking about our episode, Lady in the Water. Linda Kilduff Rogers says, I recently saw this movie. It was pretty good.
Yes, Linda, it was. It's amazing.
Our friend Ashley Chancellor from the Collateral Cinema podcast said, I watched this when I was a kid, and it was so weird. Ha ha. Shyamalan is hit or miss, but I'll defend Signs to this day. Lady in the Water, though, I'd probably need to rewatch it.
Lady in the Water is a classic. I'm not sure. I've seen Signs. I've seen a snippet of Signs. Because what's his face is in it, right?
Mel Gibson, famous anti-Semite. Joaquin Phoenix.
The most famous breakaway Catholic and anti-Semite. There we go. Who's apparently all forgiven and all is well. Because he's a man.
Is that how it works?
I believe it does.
Are you adding more subtext to this movie's plot? Sweet Jesus.
It's facts. It's just facts. It's
facts
science.
Is facts. Just the facts, ma'am. So, thank you very much. And be well.
Woo!